says something like.
Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7:03. Presentation of January minutes. Everyone should have minutes in their bundle. Looking for a motion.
Motion to approve January minutes.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. Since we have extra people in the room tonight, I thought I'd get a motion on the floor to move discussion of Friday night's deliberation session up, if I could get a motion on that. As a topic.
I make a motion to move the discussion first to Friday night's deliberation meeting.
Second?
Sure.
Laurel?
Yeah, seconded.
Thank you.
I said it twice, but
I can't hear you, sorry. All in favor? Aye. Perfect. Okay, so I know that's why we have extra people in the room, and that is awesome. I think this is a really important topic, and PTA is a child advocacy group, so we want to advocate for our students here in Hooksett. We are definitely pro public ed. So we have some experts on the topic tonight, and basically for the ones who weren't there on Friday, we had to zero out the warrant article because if it were to pass, then we wouldn't have enough money in the operating budget. We wouldn't have money for the roof that is desperately needed, the fourth installment, because they have to take the money as it appears, which was kind of a curveball, to say the least. So we have the experts in the room to answer any questions. I'm going to start one off. What happens to the state grant money that we were going to get to help with the security measures? Do we lose that now? Is there a way we can still use it?
Most of your questions we're not going to be able to answer because this was Friday. We haven't obviously met yet. But that's top on my list to ask that. So we'll find out. And I'm hoping that because there isn't an opportunity for voters to vote no, because it's zeroed, that we hopefully will have that opportunity to use it. But we'll have to obviously get that clarified. Because it will expire. We had last year, in hopes to use it this year.
Right.
We have a meeting tomorrow night. And a lot of these questions that we don't have the answers, we're going to get the answers.
Perfect.
So,
No, there's no way you can use if there's like a surplus at the end of this budget. We can't appropriate any of that money to assist with the
if the warrant
grant.
had failed, then no, we wouldn't be able to, because it's all goes towards the warrant.
Mhm.
But where there's no failure and no approval, we need to get legal clarification whether we can still do that. And my assumption is yes, and I've had discussions with Jason Hyde that we're going to work together to try to get some of this stuff done. So as long as legally we can do it.
We were able to use fund balance last year for items that weren't listed in the warrant to take care of those, some of those things because we couldn't do the things that were on the warrant. But because it was zeroed, we may be able to. So that's what we have to get 100% answer that we can. And then we can start hitting stuff on the list.
I was gonna say, I would hate to see that money have to go back to the state.
Yeah.
That's
So,
a
The
lot.
grant,
Same here.
absolutely, yeah,
It is.
sure.
Are we thinking in the future to separate the safety and the addition?
yes, I would say yes.
Do separate
I
warrant
think
articles?
I
or
speak
different?
for most of the board, if not all.
Okay,
When we put this together last year, it was based on the feedback that we got from losing the first year, which is why we had done that. And the overall cost, I forget what the number was, if we had separated out, but it was significant, which is why we had put them together.
And in the year prior, or a couple years prior, people complained there were too many warrants on the ballot.
Exactly.
So stop giving us too many things, and so we thought if we've got people in the building, let's just do it all while we have everyone here and get it all done.
Mistake on our part, but
But
live and learn, I guess.
if we had separated out, someone would have said, wouldn't it have been cheaper if you took care of this and this when you had the people? Because what if safety passed and the ADA compliant stuff didn't, but they were here and we could have done it, now you can't do it, and then it costs you money in the long run. So
Okay.
whatever you do, someone will not be happy with it, but that's the way it turned out.
Is there any, so I guess our question too for the full day kindergarten piece of it is now are we 2 more years out to even be looking at that?
I would say yes, unfortunately.
And we haven't found any other space in anywhere to like host it, do it. And then I've noticed, so I know that we are one of the only towns, or on the small set of towns that don't have full day at this point, or don't have it on the, we were proposed to have it on our ballot, or however it was worded on the state site. If we get full day kindergarten, are we gonna be able to get the state aid from that's going out now? Is that something we can talk up to hopefully push it forward? Because the state's doing all kinds of.
They are, but it's not as much as you might think it is.
And there's a lot of caveats, it's like if it's currently existing, and there's a lot of things.
I noticed, I printed out the list for what kindergartens have full day and then what the state was giving them, and every town is different. Another thing is Derry is a sending school to our school of record, and they charge for their full day program. It's not free. Is that something we thought about looking at, putting a fee to it? I don't know how much theirs is, but I'm thinking it's minimal, but to help offset the cost, because there's been a lot of disclaiming or false information out there on that lovely social media piece, that big warrant article was like for full day kindergarten, not necessarily for a renovation and an addition. It had to do with, physical building. It had nothing to do with actual putting a kindergarten program on. And I think that mainly with some of the fairs, we were going to spend all that money, and then you guys were going to come to us a year later and then say, okay, so now we need staff, and we need this, and we need that. And they thought it was a rabbit hole of expense.
So if you remember last year, we put it as, it was full day kindergarten, right? And it wasn't that we were trying to hide anything, it was a matter of the feedback we got back from last year was people that voted it down said, we didn't realize it included all the safety stuff too.
Right.
That's the feedback that we got.
Right.
So we just reversed the words to put the safety stuff
Yep.
and the kindergarten at the end. There's nothing to it other than the feedback that we got from last year.
Right.
So that's the reason why it was worded that way. I mean, it's definitely worth looking into. We have to look into it now, no matter what. You're bringing up the thing about dairy charging. That's something we can look into. I mean, I don't know what we're going to do yet in our plan of attack as far as the full day kindergarten. It's definitely, I would say, going to be separated from the other issues. At least going forward, we have to. Because it needs to get done.
Well, you guys have our help and support in any way that we can do that. So just keep the lines of communication open, and I'll continue going to as many school board meetings as I can get there, and we'll bring it back and help guide and educate, because I got a lot of, I didn't know that's what happens at a deliberation session. I thought you just read the warrant articles. I already knew how I wanted to vote.
Well, and I think that's part of the
why
problem,
would
right?
you do that?
Most people don't know. They don't
No,
pay attention to
exactly.
things.
No.
If you're not involved, you don't know.
No, exactly.
So,
There's a lot of people who live here in Hooks that are originally Manchester people. I can speak to that. I'm a Memorial grad, and I grew up in Manchester, and it's all different. There's no deliberation session. There's not warrant articles. It's just a vote more.
yes or no.
Yeah. Hey, you guys all take care of that, and we just kind of, we show up to public sessions, but it's very much different. So, I think it's just trying to, and we'll continue to help educate people on the process.
I'm curious if there's info about the difference. I know at our public hearing on January 10th, we talked about expansion portions versus renovation portions, just doing it that way. I think it was a request for Principal Lloyd to look at that. I don't know if anyone had a chance to do that analysis yet.
In terms of square footage?
No, just the cost, so the 4.8 plus the interest cover for the moment, but how much is renovation versus how much is expansion?
So the architect's worked together with the construction manager, Bonnet, Page and Stone, and they came up with some rough estimates.
Mhm.
I'd have to go back and research whether or not they broke it out that way.
Okay.
Because, you know, they have construction fees, engineering fees, all those things. And I don't know if it's all tied into one cost, or if it's parceled out into the
Yeah,
two
'cause
separate
we
pieces.
did ask them to break it up.
Okay.
And we do have those numbers. I thought they were in the Turner report, but if they're not, we can get them.
Yeah, I did post the Turner report after our meeting, because that was a
Okay.
big question that people were asking about the numbers on that. So I put it on our school board Facebook page for everybody to look at.
Let's take a look at that, thank you.
Yeah. I apologize, it should have been there Friday night.
Yes.
I just wanted to say thank you, because it's not fun writing warrant articles. No, I'm not sure how many people have actually written warrant articles. It's not fun, and you guys did the best you could with what you had, and you have to turn them in very early, and you can't really change them after that, so thank you for doing what you could have done. And I know that you guys will get it done this year.
We're trying.
I know.
I think collaboration amongst the two boards is going to help out a lot, so, over a lot.
Anything else about full-day kindergarten or warrant article or anything of that nature? While we have-
Just to clarify, we already, as a board, support, and we didn't need the town to approve full-day kindergarten.
Right.
What we were looking for is the room,
The
the
space.
space. So they're kind of like two separate things. We were looking to expand. If we made the rooms here, you're displacing the people that are currently, and then where are they gonna go? Because you need additional 1,000 square foot rooms and all of that, so we support the idea of it. We're just looking to house it.
There were two comments made at the deliberative session, which I hadn't heard these items before, but one gentleman spoke and said there was a 2004 report that was done when Collie was built and the school shuffled. And I think population is about the same now as then, but this report allegedly thought there was enough room to do K in the space, but another gentleman had talked about we have some space here for SNHU programs, and I hadn't heard either of those two things before, so I don't know if anyone can talk to those points.
So, in order to house a kindergarten program, you need to have 1,000 square feet for the classroom. That's a state minimum standard.
Okay.
As far as a dedicated classroom for Southern New Hampshire University, that is absolutely false. We have a
Okay.
multi-use space that's used by not only that program, but we also have PTA uses it. We also have meetings in there. We have special educators evaluate students in that room as well.
Okay.
So it's a multi-use space.
Okay.
And that question was asked the other night, and I don't know why that answer wasn't given.
Okay.
But that's what it was, the
Right.
answer.
And the last demographic study was done in 2015.
Okay.
So it's fairly recent.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the 2004, there was something to do with Collie, I think. you
Yeah.
said, but the most recent enrollment projections and all that was the 2015.
Yeah, it was dated, I was having trouble finding it on anybody's
Yeah.
website, but I guess they did an analysis based on, because when Collie was built, they closed the school down, which is now the town offices.
Right.
And so it was kind of this like,
Dominoes.
Right.
yeah, and so it was the first I'd ever heard of it, so I was just curious if anyone
And
had.
back-
I wasn't aware of a 215.
Back in 2016, when the full-day kindergarten study committee was looking at space and whether or not, Karen, correct me if I'm wrong, whether or not it could be housed at Hooksett Memorial School,
Mhm.
you know, versus Underhill School, or maybe doing two neighborhood schools and redistricting. They couldn't do it without having to modify that building because the classrooms don't meet the minimum standard.
Got it.
I wasn't sure if this brought up. I know that I spoke with Lindsay the other day, and I know I'm crazy sometimes, but the town offices are in a school. I know that school needs a lot of renovations, but is it less costly than adding tons of rooms here? Are those rooms qualified? Because the town offices, I'm not sure if you walked around there, they don't use all that space.
I can actually answer that, so I.
That'd be great.
No, I had a tour with Town Administrator Dr. Schenkel at one of our budget committee meetings
Yes.
before he retired, and I got to like the ghost part of the building, right? They were able to look at lights and stuff, and he said the biggest challenge using that space was actually ADA requirements. So It's all stairs and stairs and stairs and stairs.
There is a
More
lift,
stairs.
there's a wheelchair lift,
There's
that's there.
three lifts, I think,
Yeah.
and so if you're under the building and whatever, I think it's considered like if there's a fire or something, so I think there's, to use that wing, I think it's even still more innovation.
But even if it's just full day kindergarten over there using the bottom floor, move the town offices to
Oh, I
the
see what
top
you mean.
floor.
Yeah,
Being a town, a
yeah.
little bit more creative and think
I
outside
think
the
we did
box.
That's
or
right.
something.
Yeah.
They don't use all that space over
No,
there
they
at
don't,
all.
yeah.
And I think if,
But what's separated?
and you can do that,
Yeah.
and you can do that,
Could be something.
yeah.
That's right.
Well, there's, Londonderry has their
Yeah.
kindergarten in a separate building altogether.
Yes.
It's just kindergarten, and Merrimack actually needs to get kindergarten PTA. Not that I want that building, that's not what I'm saying, as they say this, but Merrimack for years up until now, because they just got it passed through the town for full day and supported by the town, the PTAs did their kindergarten. I don't necessarily think it was free, and they had it in a separate facility as well. So, out of the box ideas and thoughts, just to kind of, I think, anybody that can bring stuff to the table, that can get things moving and get progression forward is great.
Jill, can I say something?
Yeah,
So when I was hired back in 1988, it was probably the first year or two that the school district went from neighborhood schools to grade level schools. So we were originally 2 neighborhoods, north and south. And then I think a year or two before I was hired, it went to a K2 because one side of the town was developing more than the other. And I want to say the south side was getting very big class sizes, and the north side, which was the village school, was having very small class sizes. So that was the history that I had learned when I was hired here. So they decided to restructure, and everybody became K2, 3, 5.
I was a student at
Okay,
that
so
time.
you were, so you
I was
know
a student
that.
at that time.
Oh,
In Webster. I went to village school and then
Oh, so you remember it?
I remember being at school in village.
Okay, it's a K through,
I went there for third
3, 4,
grade.
and 5.
Yes.
Okay, so you were part of that
3,
restructure.
4, and 5.
So where I'm going with this is when they hired a new first grade teacher, I was student teaching at the village school and got hired at the Underhill School for a first grade position, newly created, because I was telling you about the boom. This school was getting, overwhelmed with the number of children. And this is just out of the box thinking that Jill is talking about. They moved the library and they put it on the stage. And they gave me, the new teacher, the classroom where the library was. So I know we want an addition. I want an addition selfishly. But we had to do things back then to show that space need. And so for 2 years, I was in the library across from, so the multi-purpose room hallway was the old library and the office was across from me. And so Lee Mason at the time was the principal, and I was, do you remember that? I was in the room, which was the library, across, not near any of the teachers, first year teacher, all by myself. I was like, oh my gosh, like a little annex. But it took 2 years to show teachers were in closets, teachers were in libraries were on the stage. Art, I don't think was on a cart, but it had at some point gone to that, where Annie White was driving around in a cart. So maybe we need to show a space need crunch, get kindergarten in, be uncomfortable, show a space need, and then, because I'm only thinking historically, and then I'm not saying go library on the stage, I'm not saying any of that, but I'm saying, as we look at what happened in the past, that's how they got things. So for a library to be on a stage for 2 years, children, gym coexisting, I mean, poor Mary Campbell, it wasn't easy having story time, getting books and competing with what was happening in the gym. So it was, I don't know if anybody remembers that, but it was, and we survived and we got that new wing that came in 1990. And then, subsequently, you got College Memorial renovations, and you got the safety center. Historically, things tend to fail here to 1 or 2 times. It's just the nature of the beast. And then, so just perspective. We really have had places where we were all very, in different places we didn't want to be. And then they literally had presentations and showing where people were teaching without windows and without ventilation, and kids were going into those spaces, and then came that wing. And then they put the 2 rooms on up the other wing too, just in case you needed to have more room. So, yeah, selfishly, I want everything to pass because full-day K could come, and that's a wonderful thing. But
That's kind
maybe
of what
we
I was
can-
thinking with outside the box or switching presentations of things, anything, yeah.
I couldn't support that, I'll be honest with you, because we'd be moving 4 special educators into a space, and if I'm thinking about the 6 paraprofessionals that also work with those special educators, that's not fair to those students or those teachers, and it also goes against the state's minimum requirements for special education resource space. So I wouldn't go for that at all.
And
Also
I'm
for
not
libraries,
suggesting any configurations, I'm just sharing what had happened. I don't know how it would work here, but I'm just sharing what was in the past.
Also for
I
library
don't know.
space, you need to have a minimum of 1,800 square feet. And I can tell you that stage probably doesn't meet that size requirement.
I think back when we did the study committee, Mary Ann and I were just saying, I think the town hall came up in that, and we thought there was some kind of asbestos issue, and definitely like ADA requirements,
Could've been
there was
back then.
definitely like an investment to get
I'll wear a
that
mask going
functioning.
forward.
So,
Where is
it wasn't, yeah, it wasn't like
Oh.
a viable option, so we took that off. We could look at it again, but.
Somehow I think it wasn't asbestos there. I mean, for them to put the town offices in there, the asbestos has to be gone.
They renovated
Yeah.
most
Oh,
or
they did.
whatever, so, yeah.
Yeah, it has to
But
be.
then where would they-
Oh, good.
There's no way to.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way to.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I don't know.
Just
Just
something to think about.
Exactly, throwing things out there.
No, it's good.
When
Plan A, plan B, right?
Oh, that's true.
Honestly, that's at least what we're getting for feedback is big price tag this year, and then you're gonna come back in 2 years. We do full day kindergarten, there's gonna be additional staff we need to see, right? And paras and all of that, so, and people are smart, they get that, so they're like,
I think that of land
So,
that knocks down.
any way we can,
And curriculum, that's expensive.
Yep.
When you do full day K, you have to change curriculum in first grade, second grade, and all the way up, so it's additional expenses.
I know.
So, anyway, we can educate, get smart, about it, and, help get it moving forward, I think is the key.
Kara, is there room in other schools, like should they create another building?
I think.
They looked at that,
We looked at
didn't they?
Yeah.
Memorial, and they didn't have the square footage without doing some renovations, taking walls down.
And I'm not sure if it's law, but does an entire grade have to be at one building? Like, can you put half of third grade at Memorial and half of third grade at Colley, or, like, can you do something like that?
I feel like
I
there
mean,
was
if
like
it's
some.
that important, can,
Right. I mean, I think we even talked about busing kindergarten to Colley and having, because if we could find space, I think that had come up as well. But there was just so many variables of the busing issues. Are you gonna put kindergartens on buses with 8th graders? And, how do you separate that space
And make it
and the social emotional learning, and the needs are just so different. It was more of a challenge, presented more of a challenge.
There is a town, I wanna say it's Hampstead has third grade at the high school. It didn't fit in one of the
Yeah,
elementary schools.
sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
So they had to move it, but that they're all by themselves in that particular building, it's, they've done all that. But I don't know, I've got kids at Colley, I don't see space over there either, I feel like all our classrooms are pretty well utilized at
The
the
space of it
moment.
is pretty well utilized.
Yeah.
My high school had kindergarten, first and second on one side, and high school on the other side, the library separate. That's all different now.
And I think that goes back to what they did here in the 80s, it's the laws have changed, so I don't think the mandates were there like they are now. So you could do things like that, put a library on the stage, because there wasn't mandated square footage that I'm sure that we know there are now, so. Okay, anybody else have anything else on that topic? So we can move this meeting along. We good? Okay. Present financials. Yeah.
Alrighty. Let's see, still working to get with Lon to get the online accounting software. So currently our secondary account that's just supposed to be a temporary holding place has now gone to $5,102.68. I'm thinking about just running reports and just dumping it into the other account at this point. The Underhill Playground account is $3,656.51. Went up by 47 cents in interest. Beginning balance was $26,827.30. Due to the lack of events, money or revenue generating events, I should say, we had 0 deposits in January. Several expenses. Avalanche finally cashed their checks for the logo wear. We had the brain show assembly for $3,400. We hosted our math night, so there were expenses associated with that. The Cody Outdoor Classroom, that was the final amount that we were holding from the 5th grade from that donation from last year.
Yep.
We still have yet to receive the matching donation. So at this point, I let Memorial know, don't hold your breath because I don't think we're getting it. So it's been over a year and a half. Total expenses in January, $9,000.30. Oh, that was unexpected. And, let's see. Oh, I didn't put in, all right, the expenses for the credit card, there should be 2 entries there. $29.99 was Crown Trophy for Reflections.
Reflection medals, yes.
And $10.59 was the golf pencils for safety night. Let's see, and then checks not cashed as of the 31st were Math Night reimbursement, WD Mason, Cody Outdoor Classroom, and then reimbursement for Laura for the Reflections expenses, totaling $699.01, leaving us a balance of about $18,045.53. Of that, we still have, I believe, $572 that Mr. Davini needs to spend from that music donation. And I did email him and he's putting together a list. So that's what we got.
Everyone all good with financials? Any questions? Okay, my turn. Try to be quick. Some things that aren't on there that I need to talk, but pretty much recap on the safety night. That's all in your packet. I printed off. We got 44 return surveys to us. So I put in everyone's answers and comments. So you can take a look at, that was our feedback we got that night for the event. Pretty much it was all really positive. Everyone loved Chief Broderick's speech. We did get a couple comments that it did made the night a little long, and they were there to really hear Town Pacific stuff. Okay, so good comment. We also got a couple comments that it was really great that we had him to talk about mental health, and that Head of Student Services reported on links to mental health, but we didn't really get into what we do. So definitely great topic for another parent info night. Maybe we can highlight some of the assemblies that we do, some of the professional development. We've helped with supporting for the teachers. Tigers is coming next Friday, which we footed the bill for Memorial students on bullying. And we have that whole wellness week coming up in May for the junior high. I would like to say that bullying is our platform for School of Excellence at Memorial. We've done a lot here around the safety piece and the safety forum night, and we've done a lot at Colley for our School of Excellence there. So I really would like to see if we can either bring in a nighttime speaker for the parents or do some sort of assembly. I say that as we just went over finances, but something to kind of, we just haven't really done much over there. Tiger we do every year, so to me, like, that's kind of cheating to say that was what we did for School of Excellence, because we do that every year. So they're kind of, last year they got a lot more of our attention. the whole having three kids, right? And balancing, I'm having parental guilt over at Memorial at the moment. So anybody that has any good information on that, please share. I'm going to be reaching out to Steve shortly. He was being the secretary today, so today was not the time to ask when I was there. The teachers and him covering the office today. So when things settle down, I will talk with him more about what we can do there. IT conversations happened. I had a great meeting with the district's IT director last Thursday after school. We will now have a PTA Wi-Fi portal on Mondays in this room. So I highly suggest if you're going to do committee meetings, Monday nights are your night. It's not necessarily this room, this building. We will now be able to do our minutes right up on the drive, which will be fantastic. So that is really exciting. It will be password protected. We'll have our password. It has not been up live yet, and it has not been shared with me. And he is willing to help us out if we give him a 2-week window before any of our major events. He will set us up with our PTA portal at whatever school we're at so that we can use our Square easier to take in, do more of that online stuff. We're hopefully going to go to live streaming our meetings so we can take comments. We're just not there yet. We're trying recording today. And then the other piece is though it will not be Facebook Live. He cannot change the firewall just for us. But we can at least jump on that and do what we need to do via Drive. And then we can jump off of that and go and post our pictures on Facebook like we typically would. At the lower 2 schools, Collie is still just going to be that hurdle because Facebook and Collie do not get along. But we're getting somewhere. So that was really exciting. He was very pleasant to work with, very nice, and it was just awesome. So that was great. Wellness committee update. I had one wellness committee in January. We were supposed to be meeting tomorrow after school. Mr. Benson had to cancel that meeting because he needed some of the people in that committee for something else, another presentation he was working on. But it looks like it's still going to be that week after. So our color run is May 19th. It's going to be the 20th through the 25th, 24th, that week. It looks like we will be able to do our Facebook grant that week during the evening on digital safety. We got the $1,000 from Facebook, the company, through National PTA. And they're going to give us a great curriculum, all pre-scripted, where we can come in, meet as a large group, and then do some breakout sessions around digital safety. You can kind of pick some topics. We'll have a multitude of couple of small groups to kind of go around, break out to. One of them, which is really interesting, is to get some of the middle schoolers there and let them be the experts, get them on some devices and have them show you what's out there for apps, what they're using, kind of let them be the expert, which is great. And the nice part with $1,000 is the curriculum's coming to us for free now. So that's great, and we don't have to buy that or put that through our money. So we can get some great door prizes to entice kids to come with their parents, because it's a nice event where we can have both there. And get some food to hopefully get people through the door and make it a fun family night is our hope. So Megan and I are on all kinds of webinars and different things to get that through. And we have full support of Mrs. Benyak and Mrs. Lanner up at Collie. Those are the health and technology teachers, and they're really excited to see this come through. So they're going to help us with that, which is fantastic.
The PowerPoint presentation, I just got it today, in fact, so.
Perfect.
It looks like it's gonna be really fun.
Awesome. So that's Wellness Committee. Mother and Son is sick. Thanks to these lovely ladies and Jeanette Ward. She had her beautiful accessories that she needed to get home to bed with her tonight. So that is fantastic. We're going to loop around to them and they can tell you what's going on in a minute. Fifth grade talent show preview night is Thursday. It is the following Thursday. We're looking to have about 9 acts at the moment, which is pretty much where we were last year. It's a really great, fun night. It's free. We ask the fifth graders to come and practice for Coffee House when they get to Collie, right? It's kind of a rite of passage. We have to do it earlier in the year because spring gets kind of crazy and a lot of them are on competition dance teams, which competition they're getting into competition season. So it's a great night at Memorial. They get up on the stage. The preview night is for us PTA to have them show up in what they're wearing, for us to check lyrics, just to make sure that it's a PC fun night for everyone. So I really hope everybody comes out and supports these fifth graders. It's free to come in, invite as many people as you want. We typically take whatever's left over from the dance for snacks and waters, and we sell them for a minimal cost.
What time is it on Thursday? I know it's on the drive, sorry.
The actual talent show,
No, the Thursday night.
Yeah.
the preview, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, yeah.
Do you need help that night?
If anybody wants to come and help, more the merrier, we'll get it done faster. So, and that just helps me lay out the night, figure out what order to do the program, figure out if they're gonna, like, if there's gymnastics, so if they need mats and whatnot. So that's a good one. Thoughts on new positions for next year? I sound like a broken record, but it's February already. The only person's term who is not up on this board come spring is Marianne Susi, our secretary. So everybody's term is up, just happens to how it falls, they're 2-year terms. So we are looking for people to either stay on, most of you are first timers, so you can take on another term, or switch to a better position. So I will be seeking you all out individually, probably in the next 2 weeks, so that we can game plan and start advertising. I would really love to see a VP. Really like to have a VP, give them a chance to learn the ropes. It is no fun to walk into a ship and not have a manual. So that would be really great. Marker recycling launch has happened. That's Lindsay. She saw it, jumped on it, and said she wanted to do it, so I said, sure. We're doing it through the PTA, but
She got all the principals to okay it, so
Yep.
I just dropped them off.
yep, she gave them to me at the safety session, I passed them
I
on.
gave CC a huge bag and like, take them.
Yep, so the buckets are already almost halfway full at each of the schools, so it's going well. Can't hurt, and actually the, what do they call themselves? The the dump. I'm gonna say the
Transfer station?
Transfer station advertised it on their Facebook page. They put up our flyer, so I thought that was really cool. About griping about recycling. Yeah, like, you're griping about the lack of recycling, here you go. And I was like, awesome plug, I loved that. Scholarship information went out last week to all our sending high schools that we currently have students at. It also went to the SAU. I have planned and been at the schools like every day for the last 2 weeks and have not done it yet, but I plan to also put an application up in the 2 mail rooms or the three mailboxes at the schools. And that is due April 30th, so we tend to decide around teacher appreciation weeks while we're in here working, we tend to just knock it out. So that this way they know in time for their senior award nights. We try to get it out there pretty early, and we cut our check in January for last year's recipient.
Yep, she has been paid.
So we are good. So if you don't know, we do a $500 scholarship for any graduating high schooler that's going on to secondary ed, and it's based on community service. The information's all up there, it's actually on our Facebook page, and I will get it up on the website. Anybody have any questions on that? Okay, I always feel like I have so much to say, so I try to push through. Foster's Golf Camp has asked if we would like to do Foster's again this spring. They reached out to me a couple weeks ago. If we sponsor the after schools club again, they will give us a free week of golf camp to raffle off at the 5K or color run or whatever our run is. That we're having on May 19th. I can't tell if we're doing cross country, which isn't a 5K, or if we're doing a 5K, or
We're doing loops.
So if you didn't know, we are doing a color run in partnership with Auburn. Auburn has done a color run for the last couple of years. They use actually a fundraising company that we've used in the past for our catalog fundraiser. Their grounds are under construction because on their third year they got it passed. So our PTAs get along splendidly, which is awesome. And so we decided, why don't we just do one big one so they could still have their color run. And the more we have, the more money we collect, we can up our profits. And it doesn't matter that they're going separate, like they'll look at it joint. So that is awesome. So that is May 19th. We're gonna have it at Collie, probably use the cross-country track. So we're really excited about that, and it's gonna be a color run, so it's gonna be fun. It's not gonna necessarily be like looking for pledges per se, we're just looking more for runners. It's gonna be a community run, kind of like the libraries.
Or walkers.
So we are looking for sponsors and prizes. I think HYA wants something to do with it. Did you see that email? Ben CC'd me in an email, Mr. Benson, CC'd me in an email. HYA was wondering about that. So I think they want a table, which would be cool.
I don't know. They were wanting the fields, and I said no. That's all they contacted me about.
Well,
The fields that day, I said, no, you can't. Sorry, we're taking them all day.
so I think that's how they got wind of it.
Gotcha.
So
No, that's
we have a great relationship with them too, so why not? Is everyone in favor with doing Fosters again? We don't really, it's not a moneymaker for us, it's just something we
Do we have somebody
sponsor.
that is
There-
going
there-
to oversee?
There was a reason last year that people were kind of against it last year, but I can't remember what it was.
No, I can't either.
Oh, there's that.
That's the one I was
Okay.
here.
So these were the feedback we've had in the past. They go and they're supposed to be learning golf
Yeah.
and they play mini golf. And then they drive balls, but not everyone's necessarily helping them work on their swing or.
Well, and I know like a lot of, because I did the pickup, so I was there for like the second half of it, usually the driving range. The girls in the group tended to go sit at the picnic tables and draw. And me as a parent, I was like, if I paid $300 to be here to be golfing and you're not over there hitting a ball, I'm sorry, like, go. So
No, I'm open to feedback.
my kiddo enjoyed it, he's been asking for it already, but I kind of feel like, I was kind of hoping like, oh, well, maybe it won't be offered and then I won't have to say no. But I remember there being feedback negative and we were kind of like, well, what's the benefit to us for doing it? But where they're offering us a donation for the run, that's amazing. So, because that alone is like another $300 value. So that's awesome. So there's our benefit, but is there any non-benefit?
All I know is I have to go and find volunteers.
I'll do it again
Rules
if,
for pickups. I have to turn around and get waivers.
Yeah, because you have to have two parents.
Don't ask me your business.
Yeah.
It's work on us. You know, it's another thing we sponsor, it's another thing we do. Is it a low, for after-school activities, it's on the lower price side. I want to say it's $125, so it's a lot less than ski. For the 6 Mondays we do it.
It was way more than 125 last year.
Was it way more than 125?
We don't do it.
I can't afford it.
Because it cost like twice as much as baseball, and baseball was twice as long.
Awesome.
So
Okay.
and it kind of conflicted with the baseball
Yep.
season too, so,
So we don't have to sponsor it.
well, don't say no because of me.
No, but after that, it's
Speaking up.
I know, I was there.
I have no problem bringing low-cost items forward to keep our kids busy and safe after schools. However, I don't know anything about it because I have 4 kids, so I can't afford any of those.
The kids love it. The boys love it because they're good things.
Who ran it last year?
So Becky and her husband did
Okay.
pickups
And the Dodds.
and the Dodds.
That's
I literally went on Facebook and said, do I have any parents that would be willing to sit at the schools, kind of keep them corralled, take attendance, and get them on the bus? Because Foster's does everything else.
Right.
That's all that's required out of us, besides getting the flyers out. They do all the signups online, which is great, but then I have to go reach out to them to get a list. Then we have to do the waivers that say it's a non-sponsored school activity and get those signed and back to us so that they can get on the bus. So it normally means the first day of golf.
6 weeks.
I'm not teaching, I'm on my phone instead, going, I still don't have your waiver, you can't partake today.
Well,
The bad guy.
In pickups were, I mean, like I said, it was chaotic, but it was, like, I don't mind that part of it, just sitting there and helping with the pickup and drop off. We can find volunteers to do it, great. My bigger concern was there was a lot of money being spent and not a lot of golfing going on.
Right. I know my neighbor, she would show up right when her kid got there to watch him because he apparently just decided he wanted to go on the bus at one
Yeah,
point.
they watched movies on the bus and they got through all of Captain Underpants and I had to hear all.
Awesome.
I can't wait for Monday because then I can see what happens next in the
Well,
movie.
that's what you can talk to them about.
But
Say,
that's,
look,
that was
the
kind of
reason why is because there's no teaching and there's no supervision, so parents are
There
comfortable
were,
with it.
there's the reach. They did tend to, there's 3 or 4 coaches.
You've seen the little bus. For the whole group though?
For the whole group, there's like 3 or 4 guys. There's Big Dog or Big Doug or something
yeah.
like that, and Coach Foster, and a couple of other ones. And they clearly kind of, they automatically go towards the older kiddos who are really working on form and drive. My kid is literally there to swing something. He doesn't care if he hits the ball or not, or gets it in the hole. It was the movies and his friends, and that was it. But they did help the older kids with like form, and there were some kiddos who showed up with their own golf clubs, and you could tell like dad's been taking them golfing since they were in diapers, and they were good, but the coaches tended to kind of help them improve, and the other ones were kind of like chasing daisies and butterflies in the field. It was really cute, but it was expensive.
It should be like age specific, like maybe for just the middle school
Say
or
Yeah.
5.
Bring it even the 3rd through 5th were great.
Right.
It was the K through 2 who were like,
Which makes
whoa.
sense.
So I can reach back out and say we're willing to do it again this year, but we're only gonna offer it to our 3 through 5th.
But if they're still willing to do it, then it's a little bit less kids on the bus.
Well, then they would have to go to 2 schools too, because
Yeah.
that's the other thing. They'd have to come here, pick up the
Right.
kids, then they went over to
Yep.
Memorial.
So you had to have a parent here, a parent there, and then
And if they got there
parents back
late,
at
then
pickup.
it screwed everything up.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the bus is trying to get in and.
I think for
It may-
3rd through 5th, great. I
Okay.
think that would be the way I would vote.
Okay.
These would be the ones who get bathroom from it anyway.
I mean, yeah, it was fun to hit the ball occasionally, but didn't really go anywhere.
No, this is great. Like I said, I just don't partake in a lot, some of these things, so. Okay, so I'll reach out and see what they say. One thing that didn't make on here is, or 2 things real quick that didn't make it on here, I don't know why, I didn't write it, I don't know why. Kids Making a Difference, we have a advisor, it's up. It's been approved, it's got the green light to go, so flyers are going home this week. They'll start right after February vacation and they'll go through May. Jody, bad with names. I can see it, but I can't pronounce it. She used to run Fun in the Sun. She used to work in town. Now she's the... Pernard, thank you. Jody Pernard is stepping up to be the advisor for it. She's gonna go back to 3 per grade. She feels totally comfortable doing that. 10 per grade, so 30 kids. First come, first serve. So I'm very excited to see that come back. That is a jewel of club we do. It's very affordable, it's $10.
The only thing that I would be concerned about with first come, first serve is there's no way to guarantee that all the kids are gonna get the flyer at the same time. So if you have a teacher that sends the flyer first thing Wednesday when they get it, those kids will have first crack at it. And then there's a bunch of teachers at Memorial that always hold them until Friday.
Like ours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Every Friday.
if
Do
it
a
were me,
lottery
I would
for
do,
them.
Maybe
yeah,
just
I would do
having
it a different.
date late, a week later that says sign up start this date, just to give
I
everyone.
just,
the time.
I would
third, fourth,
hesitate to do
fifth.
it first come, first serve, because once we give the flyers to the school, it's a little bit out of our control.
It's true, but it's been that way forever at that particular school. We've always done it that way. We post it up on Facebook, so it's the people who want it tend to get it. And not, depending on the grades, sometimes you don't fill all 10 spots because it depends on who wants to do that particular club. sometimes, our first year doing it, Julia was in it, we had, I think I had 42 kids. There were so many kids, and we were in the common area, and it was crazy. But it was great. It was great. It was absolutely crazy.
We learned a lot.
Yeah, we can get a lot,
Not
so
to do.
we didn't, then I was told when she did 15, her numbers were down. Let's put it this way. To last spring, we didn't do one in the fall, so that could help us or hurt us. So we'll see what she gets for response, and if it's crazy, then maybe we'll do some sort of lottery. She's got a 2-week window to kind of get everything in, so she has break to get back to parents. That's really exciting. I met with her last Monday night, and she went through everything, and she's gonna bring in some outside nonprofits to come and speak to the kids, and it looks really, really good. So I think it's gonna be great. And then logo wear. Talked with Avalanche about doing logo wear for spring drive. There's a lot of people that didn't, for whatever reason, couldn't get their stuff in for Christmas, that asked if we were gonna do it again. So I've talked with them, we're gonna only do it online this time, no paper and online. Strictly online flyers, they're gonna go out the beginning of March, because he goes away for a week in March. So it gives me 2 weeks to get, a 2-week window to kind of put it all together, give it to him, and we'll have it back at the beginning of April. So it will be home in time if people want to use them for Easter gifts. However, they're all going home with students, not putting anything in the office this time.
No, that was too much.
Because I felt really, really bad for the offices that had stuff. Up until maybe 3 weeks ago, we still had stuff at Memorial. So, and then people were on our Facebook page saying they didn't get it and it was in their kids' backpackers. At that point, they just sent it home. So, and they didn't know to look in that particular kid's backpack. So that is that. And teacher appreciation's up and running. And I'll be posting another meeting shortly. No VP secretary is in Florida. Publicity.
Sure, let's see. Well, I just wanted to provide a brief update on, or recap of Math Night. The Mathnasium folks were really, really happy with how it went. National PTA was super happy with how it went. I had to fill out, we had won a $1,000 grant to hold Math Night from National PTA and Mathnasium. So I had to fill out paperwork, end of the grant kind of stuff, and I had to send them photos and the exit surveys, and they thought it looked great and it was super fun, and all of our exit surveys were really, really, really positive. It was actually slightly heartbreaking and heartwarming at the same time that for the parents, most of the feedback we got was, I just really enjoyed spending time with my kids after work. Like downtime, after work, hanging out with my kids at their school, which I thought was really sweet, but also kind of heartbreaking too at the same time. So in terms of the financials for Math Night, we were given $1,000. We had to spend a minimum of 70% or $700 on Math Night. Anything that we didn't spend after that could go back into our general fund. And we spent $722.
We had a lot of food.
Yeah, lots of
Door
food.
prizes, food.
The fire department was very happy.
I know.
Right, we had 238 people pre-register. That we held it on a day where we had an opening delay because it was negative 29 degrees with the wind chill. And there was also a lot of illness that was sweeping through. So we had about 70 people that didn't show up, unfortunately. So we had a ton of extra food. But like Kathy said, the fire department, the safety center, they were very happy. So we learned a few things that we wouldn't do again, a few things that we definitely would do again. But overall, it was a hugely successful night, considering it was our first try. Mathnasium has already said that they want to do it again next year. And they also said, don't worry about funding, we'll find a way to make it happen. So,
Awesome.
yeah, so that was really exciting. We've also just received a grant from Facebook for $1,000, as Jillian was saying, to do a digital safety night up at Colony Middle School. And the curriculum is already done for us, so I just got it today. That looks like it's going to be a lot of fun too. Lots of really interesting questions. It's for parents and students. So parents will be active participants in the night. There will be breakout smaller group sessions, and there will be questions. And parents and students will be asked to be honest and open and come up with a common understanding of what social media use and digital use is going to look like in their house. And it looks like it's going to be fun, but really thought-provoking too. So that's going to be really exciting. And we have the $1,000 to do really whatever we would like with that. So if that is food, then we might do some food. We might do some great door prizes. Whatever we can do to get people in the door. That's why they give you the money. So that's the planning to do with that one. The other one that I put on the agenda here, I found another grant. I apologize if I keep going down all these rabbit holes, but this is another really, really cool grant. This is not affiliated with National PTA, but it is designed specifically for PTA and PTO groups. Again, it's $1,000. An organization called Action for Healthy Kids. They do a bunch of grants. They do school level grants, but now they're starting to do grants for parent groups like ours. They're giving out 100 of them for $1,000. The national sponsor of the grant is a company called Aldi. It's a grocery store. Priority will be given to schools within 20 miles of an Aldi location. We are 11 miles, because I'm that question, from the one in Manchester.
And there's also one in Derry and one in Concord.
Yes, so we're pretty nicely situated. At first I didn't think it would be appropriate for us, but then when I really looked at it, there's two different types of grants. There's a physical education grant, and there's also a nutrition grant. Under the nutrition grant, there's 7 different things that you could pick from, and one of them I thought was kind of in our sweet spot. It would be to have a family night all about nutrition and healthy foods. So you would do a healthy food taste test, and also healthy cooking classes and demonstrations. And you get $1,000 to be able to put on that
Do we have a
night.
window in which to do it?
So the beautiful part about this grant, which is why I really think that we should do it, is that the application would be due April 5th. You'd find out mid-May whether you were accepted or not, and then you don't actually have to do it until next year.
Because that was our issue with the math. We had to do it in January, which we tend not to do things because of being in England and weather, but we had to get it done within a certain window. Same thing with the digital safety.
Right.
We have to get it done by the end of May, which thank God we have that wellness week now, so it fits beautifully in. But that's awesome. So then we can plan for it in our...
So I will look into that. There's a webinar on the 19th that I've already signed up for. So I will look into seeing what we can do about that.
Oh, that's
That would
great.
be something super fun. That is right. Then the last thing on my agenda, upcoming press and flyers that we might need.
The flyer.
This one,
We have ours almost ready.
it'll be black and white.
It's
I was gonna
gray.
say, good.
Yeah, no, I
It's
have
gray.
an email for you that I can send that has the color for the website and then a black and white
Perfect,
print.
perfect. Yeah, we'd have to be black and white.
We had professionals.
I already asked that question before I passed them out.
And when do we want this to go home?
Not
As
yet.
soon as, is there anything else that we have to add? Really just to have you guys proof it, to make sure emails and
Well, we need
links
the
are
links and.
correct.
Yeah.
I did get the link in.
So not this
Exactly.
Wednesday then?
The link wasn't live right now, yeah,
I would almost send it out the week after vacation.
yeah.
It's gonna get
If
forgotten
not, yep,
That's
nobody's
too
gonna.
far out, you know how it's
Yeah.
And that gives
all
us
our
time to
sports.
tweak it if we have to,
We
so.
can't decide things until, 2 weeks out.
Yeah. I mean, you could post the nice color one, like on
Yeah.
Facebook,
Yep.
and get, drum up interest and
Info
stuff,
coming
and just
soon.
say, flyer coming home after vacation.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes open.
That's a good idea.
No, super strong. Super.
So the only thing I have going home this
Is
week
it?
then is we did get the Fisher Cats
Reading challenge.
Yes, we had gotten the Underhill ones 2 weeks ago, and for some reason did not get the Memorial ones in until last Thursday. So I didn't want to send the Underhill ones without the Memorial ones, because that seemed like a big can of worms. But now that we have everything, those will go out this week.
Perfect. Laura typically gets the ones at the middle school too, so we'll just.
So hopefully she did that.
She did that. She typically just sends them out, collects them through us, so I can reach out to her now.
Thank you, Megan, for all that hard work.
Yeah, no, that's a great grant opportunity.
That's all I have.
It's awesome. Historian, do you have anything?
The only
for
thing
us?
I have that I need are the pictures from the dance, so I wasn't able to attend. So if anybody went to the father-daughter.
This Friday.
Oh, why do I thought it was last Friday?
No, the father-daughter dance.
Oh, father-daughter.
Did the father-daughter dance was last
Yep.
Friday? Okay. So if anybody has pictures from that, who went,
I have
just send them
like
to me.
one, we'll have to reach
Or
out
should I
to
reach out to the chairs?
Nicole McIntyre was her
Oh,
chair.
okay, then I'll reach out to Nicole. Got it, that's it.
And see what she
And I am
has
still
pictures.
submitting to the banner. I check each week, and I'm sure we'll be in there eventually, but we've put a couple things in. That one thing, so hopefully we'll be getting some,
I
We
honestly
see
think
people get a lot of
Reflections will be in there this week, because I emailed them a bunch of information on Reflections. And last week they emailed me back and asked me for captions for the pictures, so that's typically a good sign. For whatever reason, when I send stuff, in a couple of weeks, it's been going in.
Yes, it has.
So-
I'll send to you, you can send it to them. And
Oh my God.
they're also on the website too.
Yes.
So the PTA Reflections contestants are on the website as well as the one from.
And brain games, one of the schools at least put up something about brain games for us, which was great. And then they did put our unit of the year
Yes,
up
I
there
saw
for a
that
while too,
So
which
that's
was
great.
cool. So. Awesome.
Collie was over the moon with brain games.
I know, it's their first
Yeah.
year with it, and it was a huge hit.
It is a huge hit.
The polls came back so positive,
Really?
so that was great.
Yep, that was an awesome idea to get feedback, because everyone will click. It's easy to click on
Yep.
stuff.
So definitely want to do a lot more of that, utilize. We did send out a survey today to the teachers offering professional development. I have the New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services, one of the resource workers out of the Concord office for foster care would be willing to come in and do an afternoon workshop explaining foster care, like the system, not just reporting, because teachers are mandated reporters, but what that looks like. So I think sometimes people are afraid to make that call, and what does that look like? And then we have an uptick in this district with foster kids at the moment. I happen to know I'm a foster parent, and I see all kinds of foster kids that I've never seen in Hooksett in the past. Typically, I've been like in my own island. And what that looks like from the teacher's perspective, what foster parents are allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do. That stuff changes. And we just actually had a big revise of the rules a couple years ago. I know the teachers I worked with in this district typically don't know how any of it works, and are they allowed to talk to the bio parents, are they allowed to talk to us? They always have to go through safety plans in the offices, which is great, and I no problem making sure everybody's safe and on the same page. But it would be nice to hear it from like the authority, somebody that has more authority, more knowledge. I figured, so we sent out a poll to see if it was something they were interested in, like an hour and a half, because she would sign the certificate, so it would be professional development, because it's coming from an expert in the topic. And then what day of the week after, we probably want to try to do it after school for them, because we know that they do better if it's right after school, so hopefully they'll want that. We can do something with that. I think that would help with our School of Excellence too. It's a big topic. It falls within what we're all working on this year. Fundraising coordinator.
Street sign fundraiser, we made about $234. I did make a big poster, so yeah, back for that. The street is now going to be Livy Lane.
Oh, I love it.
The boys are gonna love it. I know.
Southern Belle
Southern Belle.
Lane.
Some buy tickets. Buy
Exactly.
tickets. I like 3 boys buy tickets, everyone else is a girl, so what do you do? The fun pasta, is there any objection to starting early? I have it already and I'm just afraid it's going to, the color run.
And logo wear, I'd rather get it out while it's still cold and people are thinking orange or.
So this was really funny, so I had my box with all the samples in it. I had the box with the samples in, and I came into the office, and the office is all swarming me. What's that? What's that? And I go to Collie, and Regina's like, what can I have? Oh, can I, or not have, what can I get? She's like, I've never been excited for a fundraiser before. And she's all excited for this. They sent us 7 different samples. They have gluten-free quinoa, which she's over the moon about.
So for people who aren't on the board that's in the room, can I just give them some history on why we're doing this?
Because we need money.
Well, we didn't do Collie, we didn't do a fundraiser at Collie this fall because we didn't want to compete with the Save Arounds, right?
Right, they do the save around, and we're not doing kids book, kids stuff or anything, because that's horrible.
We really try not to fundraise, or do multiple fundraisers, but our fall fundraiser wasn't that great either, so.
We tried something different, and I don't know that it worked so well. So this was more like, we thought it would actually be kind of fun. It's a much lower price point. There's going to be one link online for all 3 schools, and we only have to hit $4,000 before we start making 50%.
And it's food.
And it's
Everyone needs to consume it.
Yeah, and there's all, they have all these fun shapes, and they have gluten-free, and they have like,
Quinoa, they have like,
they have sets or kits too, where you can like have chili or chicken soup or.
and the pasta's all fun shapes and colors, they have like college football team pasta. So,
Actually, the one that the secretaries all love were these little angel hair nests. It's like 1 serving per little nest. So like you just pop in how many people you got, and then you go, and there's recipes, there are tons of recipes online too. So just, I'll give it a shot, you know?
When does it start? I'm hungry.
Schools, I guess,
Yeah.
because I have all the stuff, they sent it already.
Because
as long as-
if people are seeing family over vacation and stuff, the sooner if we can get it out before vacation, I could get it to grandma and grandpa who will maybe buy some.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Not everyone
We're
vacations.
kind of in a lull right now.
Well, no, we did the cheap
So-
vacation with grandma and grandpa during April, so save that.
Yeah, so, yeah, as soon as I can get it to the schools, then I think they're okay with it, then a couple of days, I'll do that. But it's a nice small little page thing. But I think that's it for me.
Cool. How much is the sign to make for the street? Does it take any money out of what we make? Do they just do it for us?
They just do it for us. I email Parks and Rec and say, okay, street sign is now going to be this. And they're like, okay, we'll order it and put it up as soon as it comes. And in March it's up.
Phenomenal.
I have no idea.
I don't ask.
I just fill out the little form, send it out, don't ask anyone. We've been doing it for years before us, so it's not
Years ago,
like.
they used to have a silent auction at Collie, I don't know if anyone remembers that, and that was one of the biggest parent draws because everybody's kid wanted their name on it. So it used to raise like almost over 1,000 when it was coupled with the auction. So maybe if we look into doing a silent auction again, and that's one of the
Yeah,
things.
that's the hardest thing, like I'm trying to get it because it's the kids, you gotta get the kids
Yeah.
talking about it and wanting to do it. And
Coming to school with money.
Coming to school with money.
I know, but like,
I mean, I didn't have anybody send any forms home, not a single person yet. So,
Right, and it means a lot to some people to have their name on it.
and you can keep sign.
Yeah, when it gets taken down the next year, we send it home with the student or we go get behind the
Yeah,
store.
oh yeah, so 6th grade one, it's a street.
Whatever Sue was suspecting.
That's why I was asking if this had custody.
It shows up
To
on
me,
the-
that could be like,
You was that.
we should be making more.
If you're interested in doing the silent auction, I would be more than glad to look at that for sale with you guys.
Like, wow.
We gotta figure out a way,
Open it up to
publicize
residents
it
up there.
to the
That's his
kids.
diet.
And
So that's why Hokie Pond is named Hokie Pond,
I
because
know.
that was
We just
raffled off at some
Well,
point.
Mr. Benson was awesome, I gotta say, he came in, the first day I was selling, and he came into every lunch, and he told everybody, listen, he promoted like crazy, and he put it on his little, the TV there, it was spin, it was going by, so.
He's one of our biggest fans.
Have the
He's
person
really
who's
good at that.
have
He's
the
really
person
good
who's
to
taking the
us.
sign this year, do a video of that person, like, that's my sign. It's
That's
up
a
in my
great
room.
idea.
Kids would love that.
Actually, the girl who signed it is Southern Belle now. She's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, we could have fun with that.
You know, Sean coming down, Sean going up in her room.
Yeah.
This could be you, right? Yours.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
We gotta market it.
Oh, and yeah, the girl who's signing up is up there
Kids,
now.
social media, is something I think of the kids.
Right.
They know it better than we do.
So, yep, moving on to membership, and instead of, you can talk membership and other stuff.
I'll just talk about membership.
Yeah.
My question, that teacher list that we have, Jill and I have been going through the staff list to see who is signed up and who isn't for each school. Does that include our SNHU friends? And can we get a list of our SNHU friends or people to see?
Students?
I mean,
We could try that.
I still have 200 more to go this year. I'll take anything at this point.
So we have a goal of 500 members this year. We've normally been at the high 3 side this year for whatever reason, because we're actually trying. We're stuck at 3.
Yep.
What is the criteria? Do you have to be a parent?
No,
You can
no,
be a
ask
student.
But have you
grandparents.
approached like the Hook tonight? Like anyone? Like-
Yeah, so we are trying,
I'm not
we've got a
sure, you know.
business membership, we're trying that route more this year. We had to slow down like to this time of year to
Yeah.
kind of get there. But even our staff's down, I need to double check that list because some signed up under families or their wife signed up. So where Becky doesn't have, like I've got one in all 3 schools or multiples in all 3 schools at this point. I know a lot more people, but we do have some more membership faculty list, so we're gonna create a little note to send to the ones that haven't signed up yet, probably because beginning of the year they just got busy, because some of these have always been members type of deal, and we'll put them in their mailboxes, maybe with some chocolate. Not really sure why membership's down, we're doing more than we ever have, and doing more money than we ever have.
Jillian, have you gone out to like Kiwanis or Lions Club or anything? I wonder if you.
Yeah, like the
That's,
in town.
we've never have, or we haven't since the 6 years I've been an active member. And it is on our radar to do this year because they all are supposed to be helping kids, so, that's what we're hoping. We're hoping to do that. We also have some really great businesses that are always really nice to us in the community. So why not just spend a couple of bucks to be a member type of deal? So we're gonna reach out to them as well. And we're hoping, we're trying to get away in if you run in our color run, you become.
I think we can work it into the registration fee. There, you get a free membership for the
That's
Hooks
right.
and PTA if you register for
Yeah,
that.
so,
So we'll, I guess,
yeah, we'll get there.
I'll just keep harassing people and I'll find a new way to harass people soon. And I'll let Sarah talk about the Mother's Son event.
Perfect.
So we've been working on the Mother's Son event, which is April 12th. We have decided on a superhero theme and to kind of go along with the heroes in your community, tie it all together for the year, right? Plus we thought it would be fun. So right now we've kind of got our game plan together. We're gonna have an obstacle course, we're gonna have karate demo, we're gonna have, in the gym, we're gonna have a bunch of activities, including like a big city made out of cardboard boxes and dodgeball involved and that kind of thing.
There's a lot happening.
I know.
There's gonna be some quiet space in the caf where we're gonna have photo booth, photo backdrops. We're gonna do masks that they can decorate. We haven't figured out which ones we're doing yet. We're doing some sort of masks. We're gonna have some limited food, just because it's gonna be right after dinner. But we're looking at doing chips, maybe the popcorn if we can get it, some fruit, maybe some cake. We're not sure what exactly it's gonna be coming down to, but we're gonna need donations for the food is at that point.
And any ideas on what works and what doesn't work at this kind of event? Because I honestly don't remember, other than the cookout, what we've done for food. So if people have input, please.
We don't want a bunch of leftovers.
Yeah, we don't.
I would definitely suggest not doing cake. When
We were
had math
originally
night,
doing cake.
It's kind of like,
that was, the math night idea was to have a big party in celebration of math, so we had these 2 huge sheet cakes. And,
are you still eating cake?
the teacher dog is.
Okay.
Like a little math one in the fridge in here.
So we can go over very well.
Yeah.
So kids aren't, you either have kids that like cake or don't, I can say that as an educator. The frosting kids are just the cake kids. Problem with cake,
You have frosting
They have to
everywhere.
stop with
It's
their.
messy.
it's a mess.
It is a mess.
Well, I
We were
remember
originally not gonna go with the cake, but then we thought it's kind of
Like, we felt like we need something more.
something different besides just like clementines, bananas.
Rice Krispie treats are great because they're allergy
Yeah.
friendly. They don't make a huge mess.
And they don't have to stop doing what they're doing to eat it.
And a lot of it's also gonna come down to what we can get donated to us or
Yes.
given to us at a really good price, so.
And it's it's a boys event, and not to be stereotypical, but they're not tend to like as much sweets. They're more savory, so chips,
They're gonna go
salsa,
with the
stuff.
popcorn.
Yeah, that's the big one right now is the chips,
Pretzels,
that
yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we're also going to be, should we confirm with them? Is that what you just said? So we need approval for a couple things.
Well, approval advice guys.
Or,
any
so
of those things.
liability wise, so
Yep.
we, obviously the karate night, we got American Dragon, he's gonna just come and do it for free for promo reasons.
Yeah.
But we would like to rent 2 superheroes for an hour.
Yeah.
So there'll be like meet and greet with generic superheroes.
So there'll be
Pictures, interacting with the kids, that kind of thing.
Well, we had a couple of thoughts of, if we needed to save costs or if we had liability purposes, our original idea was to have some of the older kids or collie kids or dads
My husband.
put on a superhero costume, but then we were wondering,
No, if you have a costume, my husband.
we don't have the costume, so it's either rent a costume or rent it with the bodies
So
in
you
it.
usually get like a cheap costume online that looks good.
When we looked
But
at
these
buying
people are
costumes
No, I was
versus
so-
renting it.
We were looking into it that
Cost.
first night. I would totally just
Totally
get
so
it.
it's.
I think we can get the
Plus they're
people-
trained and they, you know.
Exactly.
We have a budget for this
Exactly.
event, so long
If
as.
any dad wants to show up in costume in addition to it,
Yeah.
We will
awesome.
take that.
We'll take bonus heroes.
That's a nice costume.
He has no sons, so it might be a little embarrassing.
It's fine, whatever.
I totally go.
That's fine. Nobody will know, we'll be in costume, right?
Pay for somebody though. There's a comic book store in Manchester called Double Midnight Comics.
Is that the one on Valley Street?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And because I go to a comic book convention every year, I know these things. There are so many active groups around here, like cosplay groups.
Exactly.
There's a superhero one.
Yeah.
There's like the 401st Garrison, which is all like a Star Wars reenactment group. I'm not even kidding you. Like people have costumes and they love doing that kind of stuff. And a lot of them do go to events like this.
Would we have any liability issues with people who
It's
didn't have
not an
insurance
actual
though, if
company,
it was a
it's
volunteer
security.
group?
Security, yeah.
I like the idea that these people have been vetted
Yeah.
through this company, because it is a kid event. Not that they're gonna be left alone with kids, because the mother should be there, and others get talking, and, you know.
That's true.
So I totally.
I would love free, don't get me wrong,
I
but.
can free too. One of
How
my
that would
really
work.
good friends does, and she's beautiful, she does princess parties, and she does all the princesses, but I bet she has connections with
Somebody
ones
who
that
does
they
the
do for
flip.
male
Yeah.
parties.
I would put in a call to the comic book store, tell them what you're trying to put on, and see, they might have vetted people. Like, I think it's worth the
Oh,
phone
yeah.
call if
Yeah.
you're willing to make a phone call.
They
To
could save us
see,
that
And
50-75.
they might have some people that charge, but maybe a lot more minimal fee compared to these other.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, these ones weren't bad, but.
No,
You
not
could
bad at
also,
all.
if they do have them, you could also ask them to do a criminal background check. Go to
Oh,
Concord,
yeah.
spend $25 and do the criminal,
Yeah.
you know.
Which might take
It's
3 months to
instant.
get back.
Well, yeah.
No, I do background checks a lot for what I do.
The courts are way
and
behind.
It's a process. You
Well,
have to
somebody
make
will
an
be
appointment
in
now.
You have to do
No,
that.
no, no, not at
before?
state police, you just go right up there,
They'll
Give
do
it to
so
them and
many.
they do it.
they'll do an instant right there for
Take you
$25.
right?
Everywhere that I've gone, you have to make the appointment before you go. They don't want you to just show up.
Yeah, we do it every day.
I show up in Concord.
Yeah, I do recruiting and we send people up there every day.
Yeah, I know.
They
They'll
do
do
this
4
thing.
days, they'll take break.
They like
and then
They
do
come
that.
back, yeah, I guess so.
All right, so we're gonna have.
They do it.
We're
They
gonna
come
have.
right back with their
Yes.
receipt. we bring right
So,
back.
yeah, so we're gonna have food, activities, and so we were just concerned about the liability, situation, so.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's it, and
thank
it's-
you.
It's coming around, yeah, we really need the donation, so I'm not sure who to get that list to, but
I'm gonna reach out to Cynthia, I was hoping she'd be here tonight, I'll reach out to Cynthia tomorrow to see who she's hit up for Color Run and mother, or father, daughter, what she's hit up recently and what maybe we can reach out to again. But basically, it's the food and
It's
water that are killing our budget.
And the potential giveaway basket.
Oh, yes.
We were thinking
Oh, yes.
about
Also
keep
going
it
to have a
going.
raffle basket, which
Yeah.
some of that's going to be donations and,
prizes.
Okay,
yeah,
budget, and I have some of it, superhero theme thing.
we like
I
things.
used to do great all the time.
You used to
Well, Liz, I could never get,
Loot
I
Crate?
wanted to hit submit, but I never did.
Yeah, I get Harry Potter, and I used to get Marvel too.
Like,
I got cut down on that.
Well, you should be getting a lot, because it is coincidentally right before the new Avengers will be
Right,
released.
Captain Marvel.
And after the Marvel release, so.
Yes, there's always stuff like, oh, that's really cool, but what am I ever gonna do with this?
Yeah.
So,
Well, now you know.
You have shirts, I'm sure you have an
I have a
appropriate
Thanos
superhero
mug.
attire to wear.
And Thanos, oh, I definitely have a tire, yeah. I have
So
She-Hulk
that's
and-
pretty much what we're up to.
Questions?
We're cruising right along.
Huh?
Questions or concerns?
No, I think you're asking the right questions and you're thinking of the right stuff and sounds good to me. We're gonna go strictly online with this event, so we'll see how that goes.
For registration.
We're gonna do the online registration only instead of having two spreadsheets that I have to merge at the end.
So with that being said, I know that speaking with Rich, the karate, for the liability waiver for that, should we do a separate one for him? Do you want him to do his own liability waiver?
Yes, he will have a paper liability.
That they can do when they come in and register? Okay.
I would have it over by his
Pick a
table.
time slot.
Yep.
That way.
Yep.
So he
Sounds
said
good. So school coordinators, Tarbell is not here. I'm not sure why, because she was coming after ski. Next week is the last week of ski, if I counted
I think it's
the,
this week.
this week?
Yeah, because there was a girl that showed up at the basketball game that said it was the last.
last week. I was trying to count,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she said today was the last.
which might be why she's really late. Because she normally cooks like gazillion cupcakes up for everybody, like that's her thing, so. But ski's the highest we've been at so far, 122 participants. Things are going good. I haven't gotten any calls, so that's always a good thing. So, good. Okay. Ms. Lawyer.
Color run on the 19th. Laurel and I, because I just drag her with me everywhere. We met with Fred and Christina. I'm like, oh, we're going to lunch, just meet us there.
Yeah.
Works.
I got free hummus.
You did.
Not intended at all.
9:30, we're gonna start registration on that Saturday. The race, or whatever you wanna call it, will start at 10:30. He had said to plan on it taking, between the quick ones and the slow ones, a total of about an hour and 20 minutes. He said is usually the max.
Okay.
And then afterwards, they do the little after party thing, which is usually raffles, and they do the color blast at the end.
So now I have to be here.
I know. But, I mean, there's other opportunities. I mean, as we get closer, if we want to do something to add on to try to even make a couple more bucks, if we want to do a barbecue and charge like per head, it will end right at lunchtime. So,
We have a
for
grill.
a good day.
She
I
said
know.
a grill. Bought a
You
grill
know,
last
just
year.
make an extra couple of bucks per person on a lunch or something. Between the two schools, I think we have to bring in 7,000 and we get, I forget the percentages. That's the highest percentage that we'll get. It should be a no-brainer, really. We need to schedule once, I just gave him the dates. Christina just got back to me with the dates she could do on that Sunday. Once we get, he's setting up the platforms, the online platforms for us right now, and once those are up, we want to schedule, check out the paper, I think I might have, but it does, the dates don't matter. We need to schedule a kickoff for this event, which he said is the way you do it, to bring in the most excitement with the kids, and you know, we try to get a slot the last 10 minutes of the day for each school and have somebody there and do a little quick little assembly. Exciting, we'll throw a couple color packs at each other, get them excited for it. And then that'll be the kickoff for it. I think he has us running it through 2.5 weeks, I think, was the approximate time frame. And once it's completely over, you know, you always have the stragglers that take some time, but that's when everything is ordered. Everyone who signs up to run during the time that the kids are signing up runners, not selling $30 slots, those people will get a t-shirt, they get color to throw. They're pre-registered for that day, and the t-shirts go home with the kids. So if they signed up 15 people order their size and everything, all those 15 shirts will go home with the student. Anyone who didn't pick them up, we just bring them race day for registration, they can pick them up there. Anybody who didn't register can do it the day of the race. We can just decide if we want to discount it a little bit and not offer a t-shirt or an extra color packet, or if we buy a couple extra t-shirts and color packets, if people want to bring extra people. You know, there's a lot of ways we can modify this however we want. I know we're doing it with Auburn, but we still are kind of, we're doing it conjoined, but we're still kind of, you know.
Have some say.
Yeah, we have some say, and I mean, she might decide to do her registrations a little bit differently than ours, and that's fine. And what we want to offer to our students can be different. Our tables will be together, nobody will know it's any different. Planning on having a DJ that day and make it a big, big party. The theme that we're trying to push is not selling for fundraiser, but it's, you know, working with kids and just having a fun day with the kids, bringing family together, community event. Knock on wood, we were even talking about, if it goes great, maybe next spring we'll do a complete SAU one with the whole, you know, all 3 schools. That would be huge. I'm kind of feeling it out first this year before we get too big for our britches. But it has the potential to be an insane fundraiser.
Maybe we want to do a save the date and we start getting some
Yeah.
press on the, out in the neighborhood news. We can't call it that.
Yeah, once he gets back to me, which he should, I'm guessing
She says it's too
by the end of this week. You know, just with everything confirmed. Again, nothing, as soon as it's, I mean, once we have our websites, we can start selling slots if we
Yeah.
want, but it'll be the kickoff, which I forget the exact date, it was March. You probably have it written down, I didn't bring that notebook.
I forgot the notebook.
It doesn't matter, but it's March, so, but I mean, anytime between now and then, if we all want to sell to some of our friends and stuff, we can.
I figured get it out in the neighborhood news and get those
Supplies
people who
arrive
just
by
run
March
every weekend
Yeah.
in the spring, a
Well, that's the
different
thing, once
charity.
it's up there, I mean, we can put up flyers at Shaw's, Hanford, in any town, Concord, you can go to Manchester, there are people that just go to these things for fun. There's links for them to go online, they sign up online, they're registered, they order their t-shirt, they show up the day of, they can pick it up and run. There are no discounts for multiple people from the same family, because it's still the same cost for a shirt, you know, cost for everything that we're doing, so I did ask about that. See if there was a student rate or a family rate, but he's like, it just doesn't, it's too difficult to break out the percentage that you're getting per kid for each school, it's just, period.
Yeah, so supplies arrive March 25th,
March 25th.
and then April
So that's when we'll get all the stuff to give to the
15th,
kids,
yeah,
for the registration forms and everything. Yeah. So I mean, that's, you know, 6 weeks from now, 5 weeks from now. But I'm still just waiting for him to let me know, and then once everything's up, that's when we can also, before then, we can start asking even businesses for advertising. Because we will have, each school will have their own link, every student will have their own portal to go and sign people up if they want to. But there's a scrolling banner across the top where businesses can advertise. And, I mean, we can charge what we want. We could say $5, we could say $200. You know, if you want to, I'm just using it because I use them for the Memorial Courtyard, but if we want to ask Faulkner's, like, we'll put up signs along, you know, those little stick-in-the-ground signs for your business along the route. If you want to give us $50, like, or donate some water or something. You know, we'll advertise for you along the route if you can do something. Anything we can do, because we're going to need water, we're going to need food, obviously money, things to raffle, donations. So
Is
there'll
there
be
a
a lot
prize?
more coming.
Jen, is there a purse prize at the end for the winner?
Say that again?
Is there a purse prize at the end?
No.
Okay.
Because there's no winner, it's like, it's a color run, so
Oh,
it's
it's
more
not
of
like
a,
5K
it's not a
time,
race.
okay,
No,
perfect.
it's like, it's kind of like Girls on the Run.
Oh, excellent.
That's exactly what it is,
Okay.
only it's more throw color
Love
at
it.
them along the route, and then at the end they do a color blast where everybody has a color packet and they throw it up in the air. It's more of like a motivational, incentive, community event, yeah. Yeah. So they can walk, run, do whatever. I would say no pets. I would say that's a liability.
maybe, well, just maybe.
Pretty sure with that color.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
A lot of people do show up.
Exactly. Unless it's a service dog, I would say no.
Yeah.
Yes,
I just had a question, based on my previous life. The town's looking for rec things to do. Are you guys gonna be coordinating with, advertising through PD or fire department on their Facebook page, or having an email blast go out to?
We could.
community?
We really want this to be a community run where the PTA benefits
Well, I'm just saying, like,
but-
if you go to the town and
Right.
say, hey, we know you guys have been, there's all these surveys and blah, 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 here's an event we're doing,
Right.
we want to invite the whole, give the opportunity for people who may not be part of the PTA to run, can you send out your email blast? Or if you ask the fire department or police department, and merchants is great about putting stuff up on their billboard. So,
Yeah, there's so many different ways to promote it, and we were even talking about, it's one thing to go to a business and say, what can you give us? But it's another, all right, so instead, because we're getting the money either way, whether they set up as a runner or they hand it to us. So why don't you do an incentive in your business and award 5 people the opportunity to run? That's $150. Then you're getting the community members involved too. It's not just handing us a check, it's, get these local businesses to come and do the event with us. Because they support us all the time, so I think it'd be nice to pull them into an event with us and see the kids and see the families and be a part of it. Yeah, so there's a lot of ways that we can do it as we get going. Like I said, I'm just waiting. I want to manually look at the portal and see how it goes, and because I think that's.
I'll tell you, but Spain Meadow Farms was really, really good.
Yeah, they are.
Into the magazine one.
Yep.
It was like you could see every person and what they ordered, and it was.
Yeah, because we
It's
will
very
have one for
user-friendly.
each school. The schools will still be separated, which isn't a big deal other than, it's just 3 different places that the money goes to, but they do everything for you, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Awesome,
Yeah.
thank you. Katie is not here. She did put some surveys and some polls up recently on Facebook. She is our special ed liaison. We're trying to really get a special ed support group for our community here, give them a chance to kind of meet and help each other out and build resources and a network. I know she will be doing the high school info night again in the spring. That was a huge success. We have the special ed coordinators from the different sending high school districts come and speak to our 7th and 8th grade parents who might have a child with an IEP or 504 to kind of sell their pitch on why their school would maybe handle their child better, and helping hopefully with those decisions. So I know she wants to do at least maybe 2 more other things before the end of the year. So look to see that stuff coming forward. We don't have any teachers representation tonight except Mrs. Boucher. Do you want to wear your other hat? Do you have anything from the teachers?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I know we talked about sending out the note about the idea of what they might be thinking about for teacher appreciation, but other than that, no.
Okay. So the only thing I have under new business that we didn't discuss tonight was the next board meeting. We normally meet the second Monday of the month, but I will happen to, since I don't have a meeting at the moment, I will be in DC for National PTA LegCon. I'm going to meet our senators and our Congress and help get education funded better at the national level, and work on education reform, so I will be gone that week. Is the first Monday or the third Monday work better for us? I can do the first, but that's okay. So the third? Or when this way I can inform you guys on all the great stuff I learned hopefully.
Yes.
Does that work?
Yeah.
18th, is that not too far out for anyone?
Because the 4th, we're just coming back from winter break.
Right, yeah. We haven't really done anything between now and then.
Right.
So, okay, so the next board meeting will be the 18th, or the next PTA meeting will be the 18th, with nice